Chapter 9. So we've got our character Chipstick, his little sister Lollybob, we've got Mum, we've got Dad, we've got Grandad, and we've now got a dragon, and his name is Flicker. We've also met a grumpy old man who is in the next door allotment to Grandad's. And Chipstick has also noticed that there are 6 dragon fruit shells that are exploded on the floor, which can only mean there might be 6 more dragons somewhere. We'll find out. Chapter 9 is titled Pooh Patrol, Goldfish and Ninja Tortoises. Monday mornings involve a lot of running, arm waving, shrieking and crying. And it's one of the days Mum works at the vet's and the only day Dad doesn't work from home. So getting me to school, Lolly to nursery and them to work can be a bit of a challenge. For them anyway. I usually just kick about in my room, avoiding all of the above until it's time for breakfast. But that was before Flicker. On my first school day since the baby dragon had arrived, I was more panicked than Mum and Dad combined. My first job was Pooh Patrol. Ooh, and we know how much Flicker poos, don't we? I'd already learned the best way to deal with Flicker's poos, and that was with a pair of oven gloves. Oh no, Mum's oven gloves! And a water pistol, just in case any had dried out to the point of detonation. Because remember, they were exploding last time, weren't they? Then I used one of Lolly's little plastic spades from last year's holiday at the beach to shovel them up and drop them down the toilet. Quick wash of the spade in the sink and the worst job was done. The next thing was emptying out my toy box and lining it with some fresh paper and my old dressing gown. I was planning on leaving Flicker my cheese plant and a bowl of water. On that first night I'd been so caught up with the whole "I've got a dragon" hysteria, I'd forgotten he'd need a drink. It was only when I'd gone to the loo and turned round to see him nosedive into the toilet that I figured out he really did need a drink. Luckily I caught him just in time. The last thing I wanted was him thinking that was the water bowl. By the time I left for school, I was pretty sure Flicker had everything he needed to spend the day on his own in my room. But by the time I got to school, I had this horrible nagging feeling that I'd forgotten something. As I was racking my brains, Ted, Kat and Kai all raced over. "Hey, Thomas, did you know humans share 50% of their DNA with bananas?" Ted said. I didn't. "And they're herbs too, you know." "Humans? Bananas! They're herbs, not fruit." I hadn't known that either. But then I wasn't sure anyone other than Ted knew this sort of stuff. His head was full of it. I've known Ted since we were goldfish. Not actual goldfish, I mean, but the size of them. When our mums found out they were pregnant, they went to this class where you find out what to do with your babies. I've no idea what they learned there, but it had something to do with llamas, I think. That's where they met, and so that's when Ted and I first met. Although being squished inside our mums meant our first play dates were a bit limited. We were even due on the same day, which would have been pretty cool really, as we would have had the same birthday. But Ted went and barged out his way early, a whole 2 full weeks early actually. 2 full weeks with no best mate, which kind of serves him right. Kat and Kai we met on the first day at school. They're twins. Like me and Lolly, they genuinely seem to like each other. It doesn't stop them arguing, mind. But if push comes to shove, if you mess with one, expect the other to come wading in for them. So there's the 4 of us, and it's been like that since forever. "You okay, Thomas?" Kat asked. "Where'd you get all those scratches?" I rubbed my arm. Until Flicker had got the hang of his tail, every time he batted it about, the arrowhead end had gouged into my skin. Tom, I said hurriedly. "What about that?" she asked, pointing at my hand. I fiddled with the plaster. It was just a mild burn from my first Pooh Patrol before the oven glove. I'm rubbish at lying. I panic and then I overreact. My imagination gets all involved. And for some reason, right then, Nana's tortoise Jacko popped into my head. Only he was a ninja tortoise with a jetpack. I was just about to blurt it all out that I'd been attacked by a torpedo tortoise when luckily I was saved by Mr. Peters ringing the bell. I lunged for the door, just managing to get in front of Liam, I Rule the Universe, Sawston. "Oi," he wailed. "So Thomas just elbowed me." I'd actually brushed his arm with the tip of my littlest finger, but Liam's not one to bother with details. Without hanging about to see if Sir was going to call me back, I ducked inside and made for our classroom. And that's the end of chapter 9. Chapter 10 is called Why You Should Never Keep a Dragon in Your Rucksack. Look out for that next time.